Hi, I'm Lucas Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Lucas Mack, and it's such a pleasure having you join. Today, you're in for a treat, and the treat is Lori Martinez. You get to hear from her again. We had such a beautiful conversation, and there is a giveaway at the end, something I'm really excited for everyone to possibly win. And either way, sign up for this. This is a different type of session that Lori talks about at the end. So make sure you listen and follow up with that. This is the time and your time to awaken to your sovereignty, my brothers and sisters, your sovereignty. And that's what this episode, we talk about a lot of different things, but specifically coming back inside and reclaiming all the beauty and the majesty within. So my dear sister Lori, thank you so much for coming back onto the show, and everyone enjoy.
I don't think they're gonna disclose all these things like out in the open. There's a lot of people talking, but I think their plan is different. I think their plan is not gonna be talked about everywhere, because then it loses its power.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to detach from what I'm expecting to happen.
Yes, that's right.
And just give up to the higher realms and trust that everything is in God's hand.
Yes.
So
it's and we can even get started into this. It's one of the things that I'm seeing people want to leave one form of I was gonna say control, but it's not necessarily control. One form of, like, they want to leave religion, but they want to jump into the truth movement, or they want to leave this, but they want to jump in, and they're just trading one for the other versus coming back inside ourselves. Whether we live a long time or a very short time, reclaiming the sovereignty is why we are here. And that's what people get to wake up to right now. Instead of, you're right, like a lot of people have put in their hope in someone, or I had someone message me, I'm disappointed in you because you don't promote masks. And I'm like, well, if you're disappointed in me, that means you put me on a pedestal, as opposed to like, what content are you putting out about your beliefs? You know, I get the right to put out my beliefs, and we can all together co-create. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting time. So what else has come up for you, and what have you experienced through all this?
So to talk about, it's just so beautiful. I'm just amazed how, as we come in 5D, we are getting away from the polarity, and everything is starting to come together. So for me, it's like how psychology and how spirituality and all the therapies are coming together. It's not anymore like, you either a psychologist, or you're either a Reiki healer, or you're either a doctor, or you either a chiropractor in the other,
Right.
No, it's like all this knowledge is coming together, and we are getting away from polarity. And I think that's what people is struggling with, because they want to be either in one or in the other. They want to have a specific label. They want to have a specific group, because that means for us safety. That means like, I belong to this group. I'm going to be protected and accepted in this group. Because the reality, I think, that for humans is very hard in our human body to feel like alone when we know we're not alone, but feel that We need to go inwards to find that wisdom, that we don't have anybody telling us what to do.
Yeah.
It's a really weird, scary place. But yeah.
You're right. That we as humanity are releasing fear, and the fear of being alone, the fear of dying, the fear of not fitting in, the fear of all these things. And this is what I've seen, the mob mentality, the Borg mindset. And this happens in churches, in religious groups. It doesn't matter where you go, the political groups, people who are not grounded in their own power and their own awareness and their own awakening and their own sovereignty and their own connection directly in a personal knowing to God, however that looks. Unless they're in that space, they want to feel people naturally have an inclination to feel safer with a group of people that they think believe the same thing, even though they've never gone and asked every person, well, do you believe this point? 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 And then what if we don't agree? So that person's no longer safe. It's all about our own fear of being sovereign. And I think maybe that's it. Maybe people are afraid of sovereignty.
Yeah, imagine. And this is fascinating because, for example, when I was in psychology school, they were saying there's something called the locus of control. So it means where the control comes from. So there's personalities that need the locus of control to be outside of them. And there's other people that and this is fascinating, through the therapy, what you're trying to do is take that locus of control from the outside to the inside and realize, for example, in a psychological scenario, and any scenario really, that what happens outside of you is not your responsibility. What he said to you, what he commented on your Instagram, what the guy at the store told you, how the people is treating you in flights, what the government is doing, is not under our control. How we react is in our control. And that's where the locus of control comes in play. Like, you're gonna let the outside like shake you, then you're gonna be all your life in this wild roller coaster of emotions and negative thoughts, and your emotions and your life is always going to be affected by what's going on outside. And that's, to me, even more scary.
And isn't it, it's interesting, like, if we've given our power away to every circumstance and every fleeting moment and feeling and person, and that is to me, that feels like hell on earth. That's hell. That is horrible torment to be. That's tormenting. We're constantly in torment if our power is outside of ourselves versus coming back in. And you know what's interesting is Lauren and I were just in a conversation for about an hour and a half about like this very thing this morning. And part of it, perhaps, and I'm exploring this, but for me, I believe that until people get clear on God, because look at what we're in this, like, especially in the spiritual world, it's like God, source, universe. And it's like this, I don't know, like non-grounded. It's like, I don't want to be wrong on what I'm saying, but I want to, jump out into this world, but I don't want to offend anyone. But isn't that the same thing of giving your power away to someone else if they're offended? It's like, God.
Yeah. God is, for you is God.
Exactly. And do we even know, what does that word even mean? Is it the one infinite creator? No, it's just, it's our understanding of it. Sure. But there's nothing wrong with grounding in this. And I told Lauren, I was like, the very premise of our awakening in the morning, we must be grateful to God that we're even awake.
Yes,
From
yes.
that point on, then it doesn't matter what happens or what people think. I am awake. I'm alive. Whoa.
Yeah, and you are alive, which is why we're seeing so much going on. It feels literally, it feels like 1 year is a decade because
Yes.
so many things happen at
Like,
the same
1
time.
week is a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in society, I just got chills, and in our within ourselves too. Like in a week, I'm like, wow, all these things are going through me and pulling me and showing me, and I'm learning within a week something that if I look back would have took me probably 5 years or 10 years to learn. So what is fascinating about this moment in humanity is that we are living many incarnations in one, because they're like, time's up.
Yeah.
Gaia, Mother Earth wants to ascend. It's her time to ascend. So all of you that chose to be here, you're gonna have to live like 1,000 lives in one. So that's also why I feel so crazy as an individual and as society. We're going in this roller coaster that is going really fast. But what we have to understand is this roller coaster is surrounded by cushy pillows, tons of light, is all protected.
Yes, that's right.
You chose to be here, and it's such a gift. It's what I was thinking is only souls that are very strong and very bold and brave chose to be here right now, whether you're just starting your journey or you've been in the journey for long. This is the one. This is like graduation.
Yes. This is it. I was listening to this guy speak, and he was saying that AI is more prevalent. Well, actually, let me back up real quick. So when I was a TV reporter, and even going through journalism school, I knew that when a press release was sent to us as a, in the newsroom, when we got a press release, the disclosure period never, if it was technology, for instance, never was the day that the technology was released, they sent a press release out. There's always a gap of year or time. So it's new to us, but it's not new technology. News because I have been reporting on it, but it's not new. And so where I've been thinking about this lately is we are at this time right now where we are learning all these things very quickly. It's like going, you said graduating college. It's like, yeah, it's like I'm about to graduate, but it's always been truth to us. Like we just don't remember it. And we're just having to finally surrender to timelines, like surrendering timelines, letting go of the outcomes, letting go of, I was talking to Lauren about, she was saying the Enneagram, and she's like, well, I'm at this number. And I said, whatever you say I am, you've defined yourself. So let us leave these systems of the 3D of like, well, this is, like human designs of like, who cares? I'm a new thing. I create something new every day. Like it's leaving this. How am I tying this through? I just think we're waking up to the truth is we create everything that we want to experience. And we are here now. I don't even know where I'm going.
I know exactly where you're going, because we're talking about, control. You're talking about putting, we are always hoping for someone to explain to us why we are like this. What can we expect?
Yes.
And that comes, first of all, comes from the fact that when our soul incarnates, so we can experience polarity, we we have our veil, and that happens on exactly the 49th day of conception. After conception, on the 49th day, your soul gets into your body and you forget everything. So first of all, yeah, we don't know anything because we chose not to know anything, so we could experience polarity.
Yeah.
If we knew if we didn't have the veil, we will knew everything. So the choices will be very obvious. So you couldn't experience polarity. And that's the project of 3D.
Yes.
And the other thing is our brain, our physical brain, throughout evolution was designed to always look for safety. Our reptilian brain was always designed to look for safety.
Yes.
So when we are in these crazy times and we want to understand what's going on, who I am, and a lot of people is getting this, who I am then?
Right.
What's my role? How can I help? That's one of the most questions that I get every day. How can I help? The best way to help humanity is to come back and reconnect with that unique wisdom that you have.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful because, for example, when I work with the wreckers and I see their soul, there's so many combinations. Sometimes they have a rose quartz center, and then they have a little bit of blue, and then there's a big emerald green. So it means that all these 7 rays of light, there's 7 orders of light, and they have their own purpose, their own vibration. You chose to bring up a little bit of the fractal of Archangel Raphael, which is the green. But you also brought a little bit of the fractal of Archangel Michael, which is blue. And then you brought a little bit of the fractal of the Divine Feminine, which is that rose quartz. And no one is going to have the same blueprint. No one. The combinations are so infinite. So we all have a very specific and different purpose that a book is not going to be able to even touch the surface of who you are. It might give you little tips, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to go inward.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. I love that.
It is. It's so, yes. And discovering ourselves. And I remember what I was going to say about the AI and technology. We, and this gets back to groups and feeling safe in groups or feeling isolated. So I was listening to this man talk about AI technology. So it's a perfect deception to the world to say AI is still being developed or we're still in the works of it. How sinister is that narrative when it's already perfectly been developed and it's been in play this whole time? But we, if they tell us, they who are in charge of it, say it's not yet ready, so we let our guards down.
Yeah.
And this AI has already been working. And what he was saying is all the negative trolls on social media are bots of this AI, and they respond really quickly. So if you say something, these personas actually, and they talk like real people and they look like real people, but their AI technology will respond quickly, which empowers someone in the frequency of that AI to feel like there's more of them than there actually are. So they jump in on that thread and start attacking people if they're disclosing or talking about truth, which makes the person disclosing the truth feel isolated, alone, and fearful. And what he was saying is, and there was this Gallup poll that just came out, said 1 in 5 Americans approve of President Biden. Well, that's an easy way to say 80% of Americans don't approve of President Biden. And he said, what, and the guy speaking was saying, and that was a Gallup poll. That wasn't, anything political. And he was saying there's actually about only 20% of versus this 80. It's the 20-80 or the 80-20 rule that we're seeing. And when
statistics, yeah.
Yes, it's so, I don't know. It's just, that's why it's so important not to give our power away to feel safe in groups.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to come back into ourselves, because even if you're in that 20% group or the 80% group, it doesn't matter, because it's still 100% human, that we all have to learn sovereignty within ourselves.
And the other thing that came to me, because I mean, as light workers, we also get, light therapy. So the other day I was talking to my angel girl, and I was expressing this. Like, I've never been afraid to say what I think. I thank God for that. I thank my higher self for allowing me to always speak my truth. But it's a lonely journey. So I was asking this person, like, I feel a lot of the times very lonely, in the sense that for people it's difficult to connect with my truth, because whether it, shakes them, it like triggers them. So I was like, how do I interpret that? And she's like, you're a pioneer. A lot of star seeds and light workers right now are pioneers.
Yes.
And the path of the pioneer is by design lonely.
Yes.
But if you're doing it, it's because you can't. And you're not lonely. You are surrounded by so much light and help. Only you can't see them.
Right.
And they live inside you. Like I said, you have fractals of archangels. You have fractals of higher energies within you. I just got chills.
Wow.
So you are not alone, but the pioneer journey, this being awake journey, it's by design alone at the beginning, but hopefully within the next years and the next decade, there's going to be so many people awakening that we would feel, that we are building the community.
That's right. Have you ever played or seen those arcade games, the whack-a-mole? So if like it pops up, you hit it and then it pops up. And that's really what us as pioneers or truth or light beings are like. We're popping up like, hey, everyone look at this or think of this. And then the system is designed to knock that down. But what we're waking up to as a collective is all of us coming up at the same time. And when we all come up at the same time as individuals in our own, they can't defeat us. They cannot beat us. We actually win.
There's too many.
There's too many. That's right. And there are so... First of all, the light has the power. Darkness has no power. Darkness, all darkness can do is keep the light from shining, but it cannot extinguish the light. So we are in the power position. We are in the position of liberation and invitation for others. I think so often people are afraid to leave religion, church, their belief structure, their political affiliation, their family structure, what their parents think of them, what their friends think of them, what the world thinks of them, what their boss thinks of them, what they think of them. I mean, they're constantly thinking what everyone else thinks of them versus what do I think of me? And am I proud of me? Do I like me?
Yes.
Do I, can I?
Do you know you?
Yes. Do you know yourself? That's the thing.
Yeah. And that comes back to what we were talking at the beginning. So how is that this light being that incarnates and then it's born, how do we forget that inner compass that is there, that inner wisdom? How we get so lost? Well, in 3D, I think that was before, and I'm sure you can see the difference too as a parent, like how we were raised, as like how we are trying to raise our children now is so different. It's literally 180.
Yeah.
So there is this inner wisdom also in society that is inviting us to change the way we raise our children, but the way we were raised and all the generations before us was brutalizing to that inner wisdom, because we had to give away what we thought, how we felt. If we were sad, if we wanted to scream, if we were frustrated, we had to just forget about it,
Yeah.
bottle it in, not say what we thought, not reclaim our rights, or say that's not okay what you're doing, because the most basic thing we wanted was just to be accepted and loved by them. So we were willing to give up anything for that love, anything, even if it meant to give away ourselves and our power.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of more chills, a lot of the things are happening with us, people in our generation, is that we are starting and we've been reclaiming that power we gave away through the way we were raised. And it wasn't just our parents. I had terrible teachers. Terrible, like bullies. It's like, if I think back, those teachers were not teachers, they were bullies. So we coming back and reclaiming, oh my God, this is who I am. It feels so good.
Yes.
I am in control. Finally, again. And that discovery is also new, and it comes with a lot of anxiety sometimes, but it's beautiful.
Yes.
Like
The
rebirth.
word I'm using is exhilarating. Like, I feel like this is the most exhilarating time. Like, every fiber of my being, it's like, how else would we get to be the own heroes in our own story? Like, I am of the opinion, and no one needs to reach out and attack me, because I've already gotten people reaching out. So there's no need for this, but if you want to wear a mask, but don't force people to wear a mask, because if you force me to wear a mask, then I will force you. When the pendulum swings back, then you will get forced to do something. And that we have to stop this forcing of one another. We need to accept and be and support and like live and let live. But how exhilarating though is it right now? Like, when I walk into a store and I'm like the only one, I'm like, this is exhilarating. Like, wow, this is amazing. Like, and this is not like, however anyone wants to be, that's totally fine. I'm just saying, like, what a time to, when else could we feel like the exhilaration of the thrill of actually living and choosing? Like, wow, this is amazing. Amazing.
I know. And the most beautiful thing is that when you come back to you, because that's what psychology tries to do, that's what shamanism tries to do, that's all these different therapies are trying to walk you back home, which is you, because you hold the inner wisdom, you have the inner love, you have the inner power, your body has the innate way to heal itself. Like, we are children of God, we have everything we need inside, everything.
Yes.
So what I was saying with that, when you reconnect with that, then you realize that everyone has that inside them. So you respect their decisions. And you respect them.
That's right. And that is so beautiful. When my very first ayahuasca ceremony, and I was thinking about this, I'm so glad we're bringing this up. And it's so funny. Yesterday in meditation, this came up, and I think I was like, this may be a message that I get to share. And here we are talking about this. In my very first ayahuasca ceremony was healing beyond healing beyond healing. It was tremendous. And as all the sessions or ceremonies have been, but this first one, I saw who my mother and father, my biological, quote unquote, the genetic mother and father were. I saw who they were in my existence and soul contracts. And without going into the detail of like what I saw of them, then I saw that I am my own mother and father. And I've always been. For my story specifically, like, I had to nurture myself. I had to hold myself, and I had to be with myself. And I've always been my own mother and father. So then I was thinking about, the Trinity, this concept of Trinity, or, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. The Spirit is the feminine, the Father is the masculine, the Son is the byproduct of those. We're all children of God. And when we come back into ourselves, and I really believe that's what it means to come back home, is realize that we have everything that we will ever need inside of us. We are our own mother. We are our own father. We are our own child. And when we can love ourself and all three of those different dynamics the way we needed to be loved, and the way we need to be loved, the way the world needs love from us, it releases the want of others to validate. And it just was like, yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful
and so freeing.
Yes.
So freeing. It feels like breaking the chains that have been holding you back, holding your dreams back, holding your dream partner, your dream job, everything, holding it back because you're always connected with someone else's frequencies.
That's right. We're always trying to like perform, to please, to get something that we have no control over, and at a whim they can take it away from us at a whim. And this is what all of society is looking at. You have inalienable rights. No, those can be taken away. Wait, what? No. And we are all coming back to reclaiming all that is resides within. All that we'll ever need resides within. All we are resides within. And it's infinite and it's unconditional, and there are no barriers to this. And those that are still in this division, polarity, duality, submission, obey the authorities because you'll be rewarded for good behavior and you'll get a gold star. And how about gold star your own self inside yourself? It's it's amazing.
We are a bunch of a society, and that's what's happening, right? That's what's happening. We are healing all this, but for centuries we've just been a ton of adults with ton of wounds, inner child wounds, running around looking for the next person to be that father figure, that mother figure.
Yes, that's right. And to make us feel safe, because that's what the mother and father are supposed to do, to make us feel safe. And so if we can get other people, and that's why agreement on beliefs make us feel safe. Like, oh, we believe the same thing, even though, like I have a lot of friends that are special forces and combat veterans. Their whole thinking is, if I can't trust you in a foxhole, I'm not going to spend any time with you. And that's the level that they live at. And yet society is like, well, if we agree to the same things, but when stuff really goes down, who do you want by your side? Those that are willing to stand in their sovereignty now and practice now when it's difficult, or those who you feel comfortable with in agreement but will scatter and flee? I have this to tell this story real quick. When I was in 6th grade, I went to a movie. I don't remember what the movie was, but with a friend who was in 5th grade, and might have ridden our bikes or gotten dropped off. I can't recall, but the movie was done. I come out of the movie theater and I'm with my buddy, and no one's around except these 3 kids, these 2 kids. And I know that they were in 8th grade because they told me, and they were way bigger than I was. And these 2 8th graders and 1 6th grader, and they're pushing me, and they're like, how old are you? You want to fight this guy? He's 6th grade. Go ahead, fight him. And I knew the minute I would fight that 6th grader who was my age, the 8th graders were going to beat me up, jump on me. I look around, I look to my left, and my buddy ran away.
Oh no.
He left me there with them, and I had to deal with these three guys. And the conclusion of this conflict with them, and I to this day don't even know what they saw, but they stopped all of a sudden, and they're like, "This kid's sick. Let's get out of here," and they ran. So I
Mm.
think maybe they saw an angel. I don't know what they saw, but my
Most likely, yeah. They
my
saw one of
guardians were like,
your guys,
"Hey,
one of
yeah,
your.
like don't mess with this guy." Like, and but that was a defining moment for me. It was like the foxhole. Like, if I can't trust you when things, who cares if we can have fun at a movie? If I'm getting jumped by three guys in a parking lot and you run away, you're not. And I've never was friends with the guy after that. That was it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't trust you. So I'm sharing that to say most of humanity has lived in the movie theater, like, oh, we're in a movie, we're having fun together, but not in that life and death, sovereignty, slavery, empowered within or giving our power without. And like, these are the big decisions that we're all waking up to right now.
Yeah. And I love that you told that story, because that story has a metaphor that is perfect now. Like, what happens sometimes to light workers and myself is that we have things to share too, things that we experienced or beautiful, realizations. And then we kind of look around and we may try to talk with people we thought that were our friends. And then they look at you clueless, or
Yeah,
they're
their
like,
eyes glaze over. Yeah.
yeah, change the subject dramatically or confront you. And then you're like, and it's not life or death necessarily, but like, me open up to you, being naked in front of you, sharing my most intimate self with you, it's very important. And then you see these people flaking away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the same. Like, if I can trust you when I show you my truest self, my most transparent being,
Yes.
then is it worth it?
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And the people you're surrounded with, it's very important because they help you hold vibration. So what I say this is, again, don't give away. I don't know if you have the same saying here, but don't give away pearls to pigs.
Yeah. Don't cast your pearls before swine. I just told Lauren that this morning. Yes. Same thing. Yes. Yes. That's
So you are a jewel, you are a pearl. If you are here in this journey, you are this beautiful treasure coming out to light. Don't, don't waste yourself trying to convince others or show others that won't appreciate this, and don't feel bad about it.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like the light is so bright, they have to close their eyes and look away because they're not prepared.
Yeah. That's right. That is it. And why, this is what I've been really thinking about lately of people that are not seeking sovereignty, but are playing in the system of really slave and master system. And I thought, what do they think? And I don't know. I doubt I'll ever get to ask them, but this is how I think about, this is usually how my mind works. Like, okay, what do they think the future will continue as? Like, singularity, we're all basically chipped and plugged into the system, and we're not like, we have no sovereignty and humanity ceases to exist off the planet. Do they think that it will just look like it's always looked? And like, I don't understand where they think the results of the current thinking is going to go. What's it going to lead towards? It doesn't lead towards freedom. It doesn't lead towards sovereignty. It doesn't lead towards awakening. It leads towards control. It leads towards slavery and servitude. And even so, my father-in-law is a Jewish man. And I said, slavery has existed. Like, Saudi Arabia, I think, ended legal slavery in the 70s. I think in
Wow.
1979 or 3, legally, they had slaves up until the 70s, 1970s. And I said, you know, the Jewish slaves were in concentration camps. He goes, I've never thought of them as slaves. I'm like, well, what were they? They were held against their will, forced to do something they didn't want to do. That's a slave, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting, like where there's a disconnect of history, results, beliefs, and actions, where we find ourselves today. And we are, the light workers are saying, we're never going to go back. And we're
No.
not going to continue on that path that they wanted to take us down. We are creating a new earth, a heaven on earth, sovereignty, healing, wholeness, creation, art, dance, beauty. Like, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be amazing. I have asked myself the same question, you know, many times. Of course, when you have opened your spectrum, you see more. So you, of course, ask these questions. And I can't avoid to think about the movie The Matrix.
Yes.
It's a mind control game. And if you think about it, coming out of that wasn't easy for us when we had our awakening. It's a journey. It's hard. So all I think about is like they're still plugged into this matrix, and this matrix runs in fear.
Yeah.
And these people again are in so much fear, and they need to feel protected and comforted because they haven't found that light within, that light that we all have.
Yeah.
So they're very, like, they allow fear to control them very easily, very easily. I almost feel like, and I don't want to offend anybody, but it's like they fall into this routine where it's known, well, I know what I'm doing. I probably hate my job, but it's known. I'm getting a steady check and I have food to feed my family. And that's very valid, but it's just plugged in the system of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming out of that takes a lot of courage. And it's also scary, but that's why, you know, you take courage. I read something that said courage is falling in love with the, you know, the unknown.
I love that. Yeah.
So I think there will come a time and they're going to have to awake one way or another.
Right.
And it's probably going to be pretty shaky because they're going to have to wake up in a short time.
Yeah.
But their soul is always looking to guide them back home. So it's like you hate your job. Okay, you're going to be here for 5 years and we're going to hold you here. But then there's going to be a point where it's going to be so unsustainable and your vibration is going to be so low about that job that you hate that you might get fired.
Yes, that's right. Or
So
you try to get another job, and because you're such a low vibrational state, you get a low vibrational job. And you go from one to the other versus choosing, in sovereign choice, what is the highest good for me and my family or whatever, and choosing in the high frequency to move and leave.
Exactly, when you're still in high frequency and connect with the high frequency. But I think these guys were trying to control us, and I mean, most of you probably know, they designed this matrix and they designed it based on fear. Now that we have just crossed that part where our planet and our galaxy, it's again facing the sun, central sun, facing the light, there's no choice. They're going to have to leave. So I trust that with more light workers speaking, with you speaking your truth, with you being courageous, more people is going to start questioning little by little. There's people that starting to question everything and have bigger platforms. Like for now, it's been like people that have like the 100K followers, the 50K followers, but I'm seeing more and more people with big platforms stepping up and saying no.
Yeah, like Tony Robbins. Did you see what he did?
Yeah.
That was amazing. Saying the same amount of people have died every single year. There were no more deaths in 2020 than there were in 2019 or 2018 or 2017. The flu went away in 2020. How did that happen? But all of a sudden, everyone's afraid of this virus. And that's how powerful mind control is. If the placebo effect is real, how much more powerful when the media constantly pumps in the fear. And then when you have this little, if you have a cold and you're like, ugh, and you can't breathe, and then your mind starts thinking you can't breathe, and where attention goes, energy flows. So you start, I can't breathe, and just all of a sudden they're having respiratory, and it just builds.
Yes.
That's how simple this thing is, that it's like what is real is what we put our attention towards and what we choose to create with.
Yeah, so it's becoming, before it was these nerds, and everyone imagined these nerds in their basement playing video games and just looking into conspiracy theories. That's what everyone thought. These dorks, they're into movies.
Right.
And they watch Marvel, and like, just a quick thing here, watch the whole Marvel series in Disney. It's insane.
Yes.
It's, if you not fully believe this, watch those movies and you'll see how things that were in those movies years ago are playing out right now.
100%.
It's crazy. And then it became all these influencers, little influencers, holistic doctors, holistic therapists that we started to pop up and bring the truth. And now there's like a new wave of bigger people with like bigger platforms. I'm not trying to say they're bigger than us, not just have more followers coming into the front lines too and saying, hey, look. And I think the wave is just gathering strength. And hopefully we can wash the fear away.
Yes. And what people are going to wake up to very soon, of those people they follow and put on pedestals, the gurus, whether it's social media influencers, whether it is broadcast personalities on cable news, everyone is getting paid under the table from many different influential powers. And the opposition narrative is funded.
It is totally funded, and they try to shut people up with money. I don't know, people are probably going to start seeing a lot of these Latina. She's a makeup influencer
from Sephora. Holy moly.
She was saying, they offer me money if I would not talk about these anymore.
That's right.
And I said, no, that's how they do it, with money. But and there's people saying no.
And that, sorry, I cut you off.
Don't worry.
I was just going to say, that's why the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not that money is just energy. It's just an exchange of energy. And that's what they were doing, saying, we will give you this energy if you will cease your energy. We'll replace your energy of speaking with this energy of money. But love money means that you will do anything to get the energy of money, regardless of the cost, regardless of the consequence. And so many people from that state have enabled or been complicit or done evil things. And what is evil? Evil is the opposite of live. L-I-V-E. L. It's the antithesis of living. Is evil.
The opposite. Wow.
So the love of money is the root of all of the opposite of sovereign life.
And just think what she would be doing if she would have taken that money. She would have, just from the most basic point of view, she would have completely blocked her throat chakra. Completely. And from there, the whole chakra system, her vibration. So she would have probably not done so well anymore.
Right. Right.
I'm so happy that people stepping up and
yeah, it's really cool. It is really cool. Wow, this is so good. I've had so many people reach out to do sessions with you. How it is so beautiful to see. And so before we even like wrap, I've done the Akashic record session with you, which was amazing. Amazing. And then you were saying earlier that you also do the family constellations. Like, can you talk more about that and what that is?
Yeah, family constellations is a fascinating technique. So this guy, Bert Hellinger, from I think he was from Germany, he would use a technique called psychodrama. So basically, it was people coming to a place and wanting to heal their relationship with a family member, but of course, they didn't want to go directly to the family member because it would be confrontational. I don't want to tell them my truth. I don't want to hurt them again, giving away.
Yeah.
So people that would come. So, for example, I want to heal my relationship with my father. So anyone else that came to the reunion would say, okay, I'll take the place of your father. So they would stand in front of each other. And then this person will start to finally tell their father everything they wanted to say. So that's how it started. But then the people taking the place of the family member, they were starting to say, I feel anger inside. They were like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm feeling anger, or I'm feeling a deep feeling of sadness, or I'm feeling like I want to walk away. And then it would be like a little breadcrumb of how the relationship was. Or they would say things that the parent of the other person would say, and then it was like, what is going on? So we have quantum fields of information around us, and we create a bigger quantum field with the family members that we spend the most time. So our father, our mother, our caregivers, grandparents, whomever was really close to you. And that is filled with information in a quantum level. So what was happening is that they didn't need even to have a father or whomever there to heal. The quantum field was bringing all this information forward so much that the other person that was a complete stranger could feel and know things about this relationship.
I've gone through that exact thing. That's one of the things that healed me so radically.
It's amazing because so then how do I do it? Because I mean, I don't do it in person. I'm doing it one-on-one. So we talk about your challenges, or we talk about a specific relationship you want to work on, and we do it through a meditation. So we visualize in the meditation the person we want to heal with and our ancestors. And through that meditation, we say words, we experience different things, because I also open your records when I do that. So I mix it. So I open your records so I can see more. And then we do I talk to you about what is that you want to heal. And then we do this guided meditation. The unconscious mind works on repetition. So why is that we have the patterns we have is because when we were children, these patterns were repeated. So when you do the meditation, at least for, 108 days will be ideal. You are recoding your unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is like, yeah, this is true. This happened. I really healed the relationship with my father. I really healed my relationship with my mom, or with money, or with my partner. And it works in a quantum level. So even though your father or mother are not even close, or your partner, or your quantum field that you hold with them is healing. So they're healing even if they're not there with you. The whole quantum field is healing, and it heals from you all the way up and all the way down.
Mm.
And it's fascinating to see how the dynamics start to change the more you do it. It's beautiful. And that's why we were talking today about we are all adults running with these wounds. Like ancestral healing is coming up so much right now because it's one of the ways to help the awakening. Because you have no longer time to, postpone this. It's now. So I invite you, whoever is listening, and if you feel like there's ancestral healing to do it for you. It's not even
It's not for the relationship, it's for you. Yes.
It's for you. And so that's why I was going to say, I want to give away one family constellation session for someone, and then they would have the opportunity to have this session and then work hopefully the 108 days. And
you know what I would love, whoever let's think this through, because I would love whoever gets the free session to come back on part of with both of us.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't that be so beautiful? And then to have them walk through like their experience of what it was like.
I would love that. That would be so beautiful.
I would love that too. So everyone listening, let's say the third, because we talked about Trinity earlier and the Mother, Father, and Child. Let's say the third person to message me ancestor, the third person to message me ancestor. And if you're not the third person, please still sign up with Lori, still do this work. I cannot express enough. I've done so many different things, and Lori is she is such a gift, and you're so loved in our home. Lauren and I just love you. I just want you to know that we love you. You're definitely.
I love you guys so much. Definitely. Like we haven't met in person, but I'm sure we met in somewhere in the galaxy.
Agreed. So the third person who messaged me and says ancestor, and you're willing to come on the podcast and talk about the session. That's the stipulation. You got to be willing to come on and talk about the session. We'll get that session. So I'm excited, and thank you, sister. And
I'm so happy to, spread the wave of love. And help people. I feel like I take their hand and I'm like, okay, come here. You see all this beauty, because that's what happens in the sessions. They're like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I'm like, that's you.
Yeah, that's it.
That's you.
Yes.
That what you're feeling right there is you.
Yes. Oh, it's so beautiful. It is so heavenly and beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you so much for having this channel, this beautiful channel. Oh my God, I'm always rooting for this beautiful podcast. I'm like, it's a portal of light, no doubt.
Thank you. Dear sister, thank you so much for coming back on, and really excited for the giveaway. So everyone, the third person to message me and is willing to come on and share your story and your experience on the podcast, make sure you DM me on Instagram. That's the best way to do it. And everyone, just blessings and blessings and blessings to you. Freedom and love, sovereignty and light. And everything is going to be okay. I can't wait for many more episodes coming out here. And just know your work is within. Keep going within. Keep finding your light within and shining brightly. I'm Lucas Mack. This is the Golden Rule Revolution. And I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.